Hey guys, what's up? JOZ back here again, and today we're going to handle one of the bigger issues in the Vikings community, and that is who's the better quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater or Sam Bradford. So, with this video, we're not going to talk about injuries or health concerns about Teddy. This is just straight on player versus player. If they were healthy, who is better? So I'm going to try to do this apples to apples as much as possible. It's really easy to just go, well, Sam broke the record for completion rating in a season, so he's obviously better. But we're gonna break this down as much as we possibly can and be very unbiased and just look at them. First off, we're gonna look at the stats, and then we'll look at them like how good they were, just eyeballing their intangibles and everything like that. So without any further ado, let's get into the stats. All right, so passing stats, let's start with their rookie years. In rookie year 2010, let's start with Sam Bradford. Yeah, he played all 16 games, was 354 for 590. He had a 60% completion rating for 3,500 yards, 5.95 average, 18 touchdowns, as long as 49, 15 interceptions, and he had 6 fumbles with a QBR of 49.6. And so if you look at him, his touchdowns per game, a little over a touchdown a game, and interception a little bit under an interception a game. So keep that in mind, it's very important, and a 60% completion rating. So that is Sam. Now let's look at Teddy. So Teddy only played 13 games, because of course he wasn't supposed to start that game. It was Matt Castle was supposed to start, then he got hurt, and then he played the rest of the season. I'm pretty sure that's correct. That's 2014, that's a while ago. Anyways, in 13 games, he completed 259 passes out of 402 attempts for a 64.4 completion rating for 2,900 yards, a 7.26 average, 14 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. His long was at 87, and he had a QBR of 58.5. So numbers-wise, look at Teddy, 14 touchdowns in 13 games. A lot like Sam, a little over 1 touchdown a game. 12 interceptions to 13 games. Just like Sam, a little less than 1 interception a game. So the comparison here is really striking how similar they were their respective rookie years. And I think this is the best way to look at them, because this is really shows you potential-wise. Potential is really showing off that rookie year. You kind of see how good they are, and you kind of scale it up to ideally see how good they'll probably be in the future. That's usually how it works. So if you look at the numbers here, as far as almost every single stat category, Teddy dominates across the board. He has over a 4% higher completion rating. He has a believe it or not, he has about a yard and a half higher per completion pass, which is very striking to me. I thought that was gonna be Sam's saving grace. Is he might not have as many completed passes, but he usually throws it a little bit farther than Teddy, because Teddy always gets talked about how poor his arm strength is, but he's actually higher than Sam's. And then the touchdown ratio, like I said, is almost 100% similar. And the QBR, 58.5 for Teddy and a 49.6 for Sam, so a 6 points higher on that for Teddy as well. So Teddy dominates. Rookie stats, Teddy dominates across the board, and that's not even factoring in Teddy's 209 rushing yards on the year for a 4.4 average to Sam's 63 rushing yards for a 2.3 average. So Teddy, rookie year-wise, showing that he's a much better thrower and a much better runner and a much better quarterback overall for his prospective team. So if you just look at that, Teddy hands down wins. Now let's look at. I want to look at both of their second year in the league. That's usually their biggest jump. But Sam only played 10 games, so we'll look at Sam Bradford's 2012 season where he played 16 games, and Teddy's 2015 season where they played 16 games. So this one's going to be a lot closer and easier to look at. So games played, both 16. So 292, I'm starting with Teddy, 292 completions for 447 attempts, 65 completion percentage for 3,200 yards, 7.23 average, still at 14 touchdowns, 52 is the long, to 9 interceptions, for a QBR of 60.3. So for 2012 for Sam Bradford, he had 328 completions for 551 attempts. He had a completion percentage of 59.5, 3,700 yards, a 6.72 average, 21 touchdowns, and 13 interceptions. So if you want to analyze who was better in their perspective, first full non-rookie season, you look at, and it's a little bit closer this time around. If you look at percentage, Teddy still wins by over 5%, 7.3 average to 6.7. Teddy still wins, and 14 touchdowns to 21 touchdowns. Sam has threw more touchdowns, but to Teddy's credit, he had Adrian Peterson in his backfield, so he's not asked to throw the ball a lot in the red zone. It's run the ball with Teddy, when with a conservative coach like Mike Zimmer, just pound the ball at the middle, and if you don't get it, whatever, kick the field goal. And when Blair Walsh was going good, that wasn't a bad idea. But then last year came around, so maybe we might have thrown a little bit more. And a QBR of 60.3, and again, Teddy wins. So stat-wise, it looks like Teddy is easily the better quarterback. So now let's compare Teddy's season from last year, again his 2015 stats, to Sam's 2016 stats. So he only played the 15 games because, of course, Sean Hill started out the year. 395 completions for 552 attempts, a 71.6 completion rating, 3,800 yards, a 7.2 average, 20 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, 9 fumbles, a 63 QBR. So comparing that to Teddy's, of course, he'd had a 5% higher completion rating, over 5%. And of course, Sam broke the record for completion rating ever in the NFL, so kudos to Sam. He had more yards, 20 touchdowns to Teddy's 14. He had more touchdowns, and 5 interceptions to Teddy's 9. He had less interceptions. So the only season that Sam beat him in was his first season as a Viking, but that was his 6th season in the league. So you can make an argument that, well, it's just due to experience. He's a veteran status quarterback now, where Teddy is still very young, only having 1 full season under his belt. But it'd be very cool to see the difference between these two if they both would have played last season. There's no way to figure that out. But Teddy wins 2 out of the 3 stats we compared, and he's still a lot younger. So stat-wise, I think Teddy easily gets the nod there. So now let's look at how good they are on the field and what differences both these quarterbacks possess. So one thing that Sam Bradford has over Teddy, he has a little bit stronger arm and a little bit more accurate, as Teddy tends to sidearm his throws a little bit, and sometimes he'll float out there and it'll sail on him because he doesn't quite have as much arm strength, even though he has that higher average per pass throwing. And Sam is a little bit better on play actions, and that's about it. That's what Sam has. He can stretch the field a little bit better, which is nice when you have guys like Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs that are capable of doing that. But if you look at Teddy, what he has over Sam is he can throw on the run. His mobility is a big key factor, especially when the O-line has so much trouble as it is. And he's just a lot better in the clutch. As you've seen, you only had Sam in a few games, so maybe he just couldn't quite get it done in those games. But whenever it was crunch time and you had Teddy at quarterback, you always felt like you're in the game. That's what Teddy's played big games in college, and he's played in a lot of close games in the NFL due to the style of our offense being so conservative, being led by the defense. He's always had to win a lot of these close games, and he did it. And that's why we went in the playoffs in 2015. So I think Teddy is better there, as well, as even though Sam has shown he can get more yards, more touchdowns, that's in a team with no running back, with no running game whatsoever. So I think now that could have hurt him a little bit. Like, if he could do more play actions, that's one of his best things. And when that's not even a threat, you could argue that he might have been even better if he had a guy like Adrian Peterson, say, if he was healthy, and putting up numbers that we would expect from Adrian, over 1,400 yards and about 10 touchdowns in that area is what you could expect from Adrian Peterson. But unfortunately, he didn't get anywhere close to that and had to deal with subpar running backs, and he had to put up all that numbers by himself. So that falls on Sam, and Teddy has had a little bit better offensive line last couple years. There's not a big difference, honestly. They try to improve it more than anything. This year just fell due to injury with the likes of Matt Khalil going down, and a lot of other guys as well. Phil Loha being done with for the year, and other pieces just everywhere falling apart. So Teddy had to benefit a little better offensive line in 2015, but his receiving core wasn't as good. Adam Thielen blossomed a lot. You could argue that was because of Sam Bradford. You can make that point. Stephon Diggs had a big jump in year 2. Again, you could argue that for Sam Bradford. And Cordell Patterson looked like his work ethic was better. So I think that's more of a Patterson thing than anyone, because Patterson put up pretty decent numbers with Christian Ponder. So I don't think you can make a case that was all Sam Bradford. But Kyle Rudolph probably had his best season as a pro last year. That could be, I don't know how much of that was due to the system that Shermer brought over North Turner, but North Turner is known for having a very tight end heavy involved offense, so you'd expect Kyle Rudolph to have a big season either way. So it's like Sam, maybe it's just not trusting some of the other receivers because he was newer to the system, so finding the big target, 6'6" target was a nice and easy choice for him to do. But whatever the case may be, I think at the end of the day, Teddy Bridgewater, even though he might not throw as many touchdowns, I think it's a lot due to because he's had a running back a lot of his time in Minnesota that could get the job done better. I think at the end of the day, if Teddy Bridgewater is healthy, he gets to the rust off, he proves that he's still as good as he was in 2015, I think he's the better quarterback and he should start for the Vikings. Now, like I said at the beginning of this video, this isn't factoring his health. So if you look at him, if you go into the real world right now, we have no idea when Teddy will be healthy. There are reports that he'll be out all of this year too. I've heard reports that his injury could be career-ending, but you also see videos of Teddy doing sprints on the sideline, and he looks like he's getting closer and closer to football shape. And you hear his teammates always saying that, hey, you never will count Teddy out. And yeah, that could just be teammates trying to bring their quarterback up, because everybody loves Teddy. Whatever you think of him as a quarterback, you can't discredit him being a great person off the field. But it'd be really nice to see Teddy back, not just because he's a good guy. I just think he's the better quarterback of Sam Bradford. But that's not discrediting Sam Bradford, because he does have the record for completion percentage in a year. And he been consistently very accurate, and he was on his best team offensively last year for the Vikings with 2 really solid receivers. Now Stephon Diggs couldn't stay healthy that long, so I wonder how much bigger his numbers would have been with a healthy Stephon Diggs all year. Maybe a little Quan Treadwell going in there, but that could be very interesting. And it's interesting to see how much better Teddy would blossom next year too, because I was actually at the 3rd preseason game last year where Teddy played about a half of football, and he looked very, very good. I know it's preseason, but still making those throws, whatever the case may be, is still very impressive, and he was making great throws that I didn't see him in 2014 and 15. He was making every throw, really, and he just looked like he was in charge of the offense, a little bit better than Sam. Sam always kind of looked like he was still learning things as the season went on, and that's why I thought he was going to do more checkdowns. Now, it's easy to be a little bit scared in the pocket when you have such a bad offensive line. But Teddy, the line wasn't that much worse in 15 to say, well, just because the offensive line was awful, because Teddy wasn't blessed with the Cowboys' offensive line in 2015. It was never very good. It was probably not the worst in the league like it was last year, but it wasn't that good, and he had the running game. So I think it's close, but I think Teddy edges him out in almost every category. It's not by a landslide by any means, but I think Teddy, when healthy, would should start. And health issues aside, I think he's the better quarterback. But health is interesting because it's really going to come to the coaches and how good the medical staff is going to get Teddy back on his feet. and it's really hard to speculate how healthy he is and what his timetable is, because there has not been an official timetable for Teddy. The Vikings have not announced anything, so no matter what you might hear on the internet, if there aren't any reliable sources, and then you can't really trust it, you have to see what the Vikings will say. And if you want to know what the Vikings will say right when they say it, stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, and I'll make a video on it right when that comes out. But anyways, that will be this. I think Teddy Bridgewater is the better quarterback. Make sure you get this discussion moving in the comment section down below. Otherwise, we'll see you guys in the next Vikings video. See ya.